I think that a lot of people get hurt by the ideology of perfection. So I think one of the reasons, long before I had D-Rock or a team, I was able to, by myself, while running businesses, be active on every platform, is because I didn't ideologically think about every single piece of content. I think when you're trying to make every piece perfect for yourself, perfection is usually just another word for insecurity. You know, everyone's overthinking it. And so one, it's to feel comfortable with that. Number two is to be okay with not being on 6 platforms. You know, I think sometimes we feel too much pressure to be everywhere. I talk about it, I'm like, be everywhere, post a lot. A lot of people can't manage that, and that's okay. I believe it has to do with insecurity of success of the piece of content. The biggest reason people didn't go to TikTok when they were winning on Instagram was they didn't have the humility and the self-confidence to not be successful on TikTok immediately. So I think the biggest reason people don't produce is more of a mental game than, it's not hard to produce content for 6 platforms. It's really not. You can do it. It's that people fear lack of success in numbers from a vanity standpoint, which stop them from actually doing it. So I think humility is one of the true superpowers of a scaled influencer or content creator. Being okay with starting at 0 or being okay if the content's not doing great. I'll give you another, for example, with me on TikTok, even though I know it's the most important platform, I don't have the time to produce original TikToks, so I know my post-produced content doesn't maximize my ability to win on TikTok, but I'd rather still put out stuff and get what I can than be insecure that I'm only getting 50,000 views on a TikTok when I have 13 million followers. That doesn't register to me as a negative. For too many people, it does register as a negative. I think the biggest issue for content creators is them being inspired by someone else and then them subconsciously, not even consciously, subconsciously trying to be like that person, which is an incredibly difficult task because every one of us in this room, me included, have strengths and weaknesses in their ability to create content. So I think there's a couple things to think about. One, your own self-awareness of what you're good at. For example, I'll give you one. I think the concept of writing content is like forgotten in a visual world, yet I can tell you that some of my written content on LinkedIn is dramatically more profound and does well than my clips on TikTok or Instagram. And there may be people in this room whose strongest method of communication is actually in written form, yet the push towards short form video or images make them work on that when they're deviating from a strength. So I think first and foremost, what I think about is a couple things. And they're all in the form of transparency and self-awareness. One, what are you best at communicating? Is it audio, video, written form? Two, the thing that has kept me in a very strong position from the earliest wine videos I made to what I'm gonna do tomorrow is I have never talked about something I don't know, ever. I think when you're a content creator, you feel pressure to output. And when you feel pressure to output, you can get very caught to start talking or creating around something you may not fully understand. A lot of people come and go, and there's some very clear truths to having success. And I think it's one, understanding your format while still trying to challenge yourself. You may be better at writing. It's still good to try to be better at video, but it's not crippling yourself and thinking you can only be successful if you do video. Two, do not deviate from your knowledge. Now, that doesn't mean going, like, look at me, I'm talking about NFTs. I spent 100 hours of research before I made my first video, but putting in the work to be able to talk about something new is very important. The quickest way I've seen people lose is by being too quick to talk about things they don't know. Very important. Number 3, a very big thing for everybody to keep in mind here, do not fall in love with the platform that got you there. A very big thing that I've seen consistently in the last 15 years is Twitter was your strong platform, here came Instagram, and you didn't want Instagram to become big because you didn't want to start over and build up your following count. So many, and this is gonna make sense for all of you, so many leaders on Instagram made a huge mistake by not adopting TikTok, right? They didn't want to because they had all their followers. Constant mistake, being too romantic about platform and not adjusting to where the attention is actually going. One of the things as creators we think about is how do we sustain for a long period of time because people may get bored. There's many different ways to talk about this. First of all, I once took a 2.5-year gap of producing any content. 2.5 years. So for 5 years I did wine content from 2006 to 2011, and then in 2014 I started the Ask Garyvee show. That's a long gap. So I think a lot of times we beat each other up. You beat yourself up for not producing content. I'm potentially one of the most prolific content creators of the last decade, and I once took almost 3 years where I made almost no content. So I hope that gives everyone a sense of relief that if you have a bad week or even a bad month, it doesn't mean the end of your content career. That's number 1. Number 2, notice what I came back and did. After 5 years of doing wine content and not doing content for 3 years, the content pillar that I decided to do was a Q&A format. Why did I do that? Because I needed the audience to be a contributor to the content creation. I think one of the great mistakes that a lot of people make is they don't incorporate their audience as a potential starter to creative. It is an amazing training wheels, setup, chess move, putting you halfway home. Incorporating your audience to being a starting point to more content is something more people need to do. Q&As, answering questions, interactions. And then finally, I'm a very big believer in what I do with D-Rock. Like filming your day-to-day is an incredible way to scale content. The other thing I did was I did a ton of podcasts and shows that had very small audiences just to be on the receiving end of questions so that I would have content. So literally DMing small podcasts and saying, hey, if you'd like to interview me, and as you're evolving through your careers, that's a good get for a small podcast. So it's good for them, but it's also good for you because you can post-produce the creative. And what's amazing about Q&A is the questions take you to places you won't take yourself. So those are some things to think about.
I got into a point in my life where my brother and sister, they've been, I guess, given the gift to understand their passion and what they want out of life.
Good.
And they're both in the art field.
Okay.
And for some reason, for me, I just can't figure out what it is.
Have you tasted enough shit?
I am trying to taste a bunch of shit right now.
That's the game. The biggest concern I have for you is that you think you did something wrong and now you're behind.
That's how I feel.
I know, which is why you're trouble. Yeah. The second you think, oh fuck, I fucked up and did all this, and now here I am at 24, and I'm fucking just starting at 0, you're gonna lose. Instead of saying, where do I rank in the 7.7 billion people in the world? Oh shit, I live in America? Oh shit, I'm 24? Oh shit, I'm healthy? The second you realize, bro, you're 24?
25.
Great. You know what I was doing 25? Stocking fucking shelves in this store. Let me just say it one more time if you're confused what I just said. Do you know what the fuck I was doing at 25? Stocking, not even in this store, because this store wasn't built yet, in a little fucking store underneath this floor. That's what I was doing at 25.
Yeah.
Bro, that's it. That's the answer. The answer is you're not gonna find nothing if you're still dwelling on what got you to this spot. If you actually said, oh shit, I'm 25, I can do for 5 years, I'll be a cook for 6 months, I'll be an architect for 6 months, I'll flip fucking garage sale shit for 6 months, I'll start a sneaker brand for 6. If you did that and realize at 30, after 5 years of that, you're still young as fuck, then you win. If you're like, fuck, I grew up, I was good at school, I was doing this, and fuck, you lost.